Okay, welcome back. When we last left off, we were talking about the big three. Michelangelo was the last one we were talking about, discussing how he was considered even more important than as a painter. He was considered really important and significant as a sculptor and also as an architect. And so that leads us to the last of the most important artists of the High Renaissance in Italy, and that would be Titian. But to understand Titian first, we kind of have to understand Venice. Venice was sort of a separate school of art, and to a certain degree, there was every city was its own separate school of art. There was a school of Parma, there was a school of Padua. There were just different, Florence was its own sort of school, but Florence and Rome to a degree together. So there were all these different sites that had kind of like their own sense of styles, and Venice was one of them. And in Venice, there was kind of an early adoption of oil painting, and by the time we get to Giorgione, we have this kind of an interest in the atmospheric effects, similar to what Leonardo da Vinci was doing, the atmospheric effects of oil painting. And so we see with Bellini, who Bellini is a fine painter, and if we had time, I would love to show a lot more images of paintings by Bellini. But and then Giorgione studied with Bellini, and also Titian. And at first, Titian was just a good painter, but eventually, relatively early on, he proved himself more and more to be a great painter. And there are so many paintings I could show you to kind of demonstrate why I feel like Titian is the greatest painter of the Italian Renaissance. And of course, he's painting right here at the end of the High Renaissance. His painting career lasted all the way into the 1570s, and which is interesting because technically that's part of the Mannerist period. And because of that, both because of his incredible success and skill, the beauty of his painting, but also because he was painting so much later than the other Renaissance artists, he was extremely influential on the art of the Mannerists, and then especially on the art of the Baroque. So, and I think of many, young people who study painting today, like who go to graduate school to study painting, really feel like the tradition of painting begins, with Titian, and the reason for that is because the way Titian made painting, he made it about mark, right? He made it about mark making rather than about filling in or laying down. He painted in a very kind of loose and gestural manner. Sometimes a little bit hard to see when we're looking at these paintings because we don't get all that up close, but we will see that clearly in his late paintings. And I'm going to show you a couple of his late paintings. We're kind of going sort of now we're into middle career Titian. We looked at a few early career Titians, and here are some of the late career paintings. And it was these late paintings in some ways that were extremely influential on people like Rubens and on Velasquez. They were very much admired how he was willing to kind of let the painting, let his hand show, let his mark making show, and then let the figures kind of emerge out of that rather than forcing it very tightly. So Titian is our last, and so that pretty much, yep, that covers the Renaissance. All right, thank you very much.